Hey, what's up you guys, and welcome back to MVR. If you're looking to buy a VR headset, you've come to the right place. With 2020 almost behind us, we get to look back at what was probably one of the biggest years for VR yet. There have never been more VR headsets on the market than that we have now, and with the holiday season fast approaching, now would be an excellent time to get your feet wet and join the VR revolution. So whether you've never owned a headset before, or if you're simply looking to upgrade to that next level experience, let's jump in. Right off of the bat, if you don't own a capable gaming PC and don't plan on getting one, your options will be quite limited, so let's get those out of the way first. What's probably the oldest headset in this guide is the PSVR. This is an add-on headset that was created by Sony to work exclusively with their PlayStation consoles. Originally released back in 2016, this headset was great for its time, but as you will see, a lot of its technology has become pretty outdated, but that doesn't mean the PSVR will give you a bad time per se. With a resolution of 960 by 1080, the amount of detail that can be displayed on screen will be limited, but the use of an OLED panel will mean that you will get crisp colors and deep blacks, which tends to be pretty important for darker games like say Resident Evil 7, which is coincidentally a VR game that can be only played with the PSVR. The screen display can run at 90 and 120 Hz and offers a 100-degree field of view. Where the age of this headset is probably most noticeable is when we look at both the tracking and controllers. The PSVR makes use of an external stereo camera mounted to your TV for tracking, which means that since the system can only see you from one side, the amount of space to move around in without losing tracking will be limited. As for the controllers, well, these come in various shapes. The DualShock 4, which has no tracking features, the PS Move controllers, which do offer some rather dated hand tracking options through the use of optical tracking, and the PS Aim, which is a pistol-like controller that works well with certain games. With the release of the PlayStation 5 and the potential for an updated version of the headset in the near future, it becomes hard to recommend the PSVR at the current retail price of $350, except for people who decidedly want something now and are dead set on playing PlayStation VR exclusive titles as soon as possible. The Quest 2 is probably the most featured headset of 2020, and likely an upgrade over its predecessor in almost every way. One quick note up front though is that this headset will now require you to have a Facebook account to even use the device. Reasons as for why this might be problematic are numerous and can fill an entire video on their own, so I won't cover those here, but I feel the need to make this clear up front. Moving on to the device itself though, we see an impressive technological achievement. With an impressive 1832 by 1920 resolution, the Quest 2 offers one of the highest resolutions currently on the market. The screen can operate in 60 Hz, 72 Hz, and 90 Hz modes, which should help a ton with making gameplay feel smooth and minimizing the chance of motion sickness in more intense games. The Quest 2 is now powered by Qualcomm's XR2 chipset, which enables you to play games like The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners without the need for an external PC. The tracking makes use of 4 inside-out cameras and provides what is undoubtedly the most accurate camera-based tracking solution on the market. This means that games that require more complex and quick movements like Echo Arena will have no problem keeping track of your hand. The controllers that come with this HMD are the 3rd generation Oculus Touch controllers, which are a bit of a mix and match between the previous 2 versions, which according to Oculus should offer a longer battery life and more ergonomic grip. On top of that, the Quest 2 also supports full hand tracking without the use of controllers using their camera-based Oculus Insight system. This means that you can play certain games and navigate all of the core software using just your hands as an input device. A significant step down from its predecessor, however, is the change from a dual OLED display solution with granular IPD range adjustment up to 72mm to a single LCD display with 3 IPD presets, 58, 63, and 68mm. This means if your personal IPD does not fit the specified presets that you might not be able to fully enjoy this headset, since an accurate IPD is key in being able to perceive VR content correctly. As for the audio, the Quest 2 comes with a built-in audio solution just like the Quest 1, which is okay and does the job, but you would significantly enhance your experience if you were to get an external headset or earphones which you can connect through a provided audio port. A final note is that the Quest 2 is also a reasonably capable PCVR headset, since it can also connect to a desktop PC using an Oculus Link cable or wirelessly using software like Virtual Desktop. The base model Quest 2 comes in at $299, which is an incredibly cheap price considering it's an all-in-one device. That being said though, because of the lack of comfort from the included strap and the lacking audio solution, expect to spend somewhere between $50 and $100 on accessories. Now finally moving on to the full-fledged PCVR headsets, the Cosmos was HTC's first attempt at creating an inside-out tracking solution with a camera-based setup. It has two 1440 by 1700 pixel displays yielding a total of 2080 by 1700 resolution combined at a 90 Hz. It has a maximum of 110 degrees field of view and comes with stereo headphones built in. It's a hopeful list of specifications that unfortunately failed to bear fruit because of the extremely bad quality of the tracking, meaning that the Cosmos controllers would often fail to track correctly and you would be stuck with awkward movements that do not line up with what you'd expect. Coming in at a price of $699, it's just not a headset that I would recommend. Luckily, HTC has somewhat acknowledged the tracking issues and has also released an elite version of the headset which uses the Steam VR lighthouses for tracking, solving the issue. The controllers this headset bundle ships with, however, are the old HTC Vive wands, and while great when they first released, are highly inferior to both the Oculus Touch controllers and the Valve Knuckle controllers in terms of usability and comfort. At a price of $799 as of writing, there are some reasons to take a look at it. First off, because this headset uses the Steam VR lighthouse system, you could still buy Valve Knuckle controllers down the road for about $299 to improve your experience without changing your setup all that much. Secondly, because HTC has been in this market for quite a while now, they offer a number of useful optional accessories like a wireless adapter which completely removes the need for any wires while using the headset. The wireless adapter comes in at $349, which is a price point that isn't exactly cheap. The last headset we will be looking at in this lighthouse-based lineup is the Valve Index, perhaps best labeled as the enthusiast's choice. The Valve Index, just like the Cosmos Elite, makes use of the Steam Lighthouse tracking, which results in the best possible tracking quality currently on the market. It sports a dual 1440 by 1600 pixel display, resulting in a 2080 by 1600 total resolution with a 130 degree field of view, and a variable IPD between 58 and 70 millimeters. One notable feature here though is that the Valve Index is capable of refresh rates up to 144 Hz, which is vastly superior to any other headset in this lineup. The high refresh rate not only gives you smoother gameplay when your PC can support it, it also greatly reduces the likelihood of motion sickness for those users who are vulnerable to it. The Valve Index also comes with a custom Valve audio solution which creates true and immersive VR audio, combined with the extremely comfortable head strap that not only provides excellent weight distribution and comfort, also offers a large degree of adjustability to get the perfect fit. Another best-in-class feature are the Valve Knuckle controllers that come with the Index. Because of the lighthouse trackers, these will have razor-sharp tracking, even when you swing your hands behind your back. On top of that, the controllers come with a strap design that wraps around your palm so that you can completely let go of the controllers without dropping them, which is extremely useful when looking at the next feature, which is full finger tracking for all fingers, which enables players to create full hand gestures of any kind while in VR, as long as the software supports it. Now naturally, you would be right to assume that many outstanding features would come with an equally outstanding price tag, and you would be right if you did. The Valve Index comes in at $1,000 for a full set, which decidedly makes it a more premium product. Now a latecomer to the party is the HP Reverb G2. Released late this year in November, this Windows mixed reality headset is worth checking out. The headset's number one defining feature is its high resolution of 2160 by 2160 per eye resolution, which is the best in its class. The 90 Hz refresh rate is good, and the 114 degree field of view is good, but not as good as the Valve Index. Because of a collaboration between Valve and HP, the G2 comes with a strikingly similar head strap, which is excellent, and the Valve audio solution is also present, which means that you will not only get striking visuals, you also get the best off-ear audio available right now. While the tracking of the G2 has improved quite a bit since the previous versions, it is still lackluster compared to the inside-out tracking offered by Oculus. The controllers that come with the headset are also slightly disappointing. They have a noticeably lower build quality compared to the other controllers mentioned so far, and offers no finger tracking outside of the static grip buttons. Because the HP Reverb G2 does not make use of the lighthouse-based tracking system, but instead relies on the 4 inside-out camera setup for tracking, the cost of the device sits at a nice $600. Before continuing, I'd like to point out that this is not an exhaustive list of all of the headsets available on the market today. Some headsets, like the Samsung Odyssey Plus or the Pico Neo 2, are quite notable in their own right, but are not widely available, so I chose not to include them. Also, there's a plethora of discontinued headsets like older versions of the Vive or Oculus HMDs, or purely business-focused headsets like the Vive Focus. One especially notable exclusion in this lineup is the Oculus Rift S, which is technically still on sale for $300 until somewhere early next year, but is completely outclassed in almost every single way by the Quest 2, which is available at the exact same price point. So I do not recommend anyone to buy it anymore at this time unless it comes at a significant discount. Getting that out of the way, let's move to the final picks. Going in for best image, number 1 crown goes to the HP Reverb G2 and the Valve Index. These two share first place because one has a higher resolution and the other has a much higher refresh rate. While these features are not the same, they offer up different improvements which could be more or less important depending on your preference. Coming in second would be the Oculus Quest 2 and finally the Cosmos Elite. Moving on to best comfort. First place goes to the Valve Index, closely followed by the HP Reverb G2. Again, these two are extremely close, although the Valve Index takes a slight lead over the G2 because of the controllers. While the knuckle controllers that come with the Index offer superb comfort, the G2, however, is extremely lackluster here, but still provides an extremely comparable level of comfort on the HMD itself. Second and third place go to the Quest 2 and the Cosmos Elite. Next, moving on to best expandability and future-proofing. Here is where things get pretty interesting. VR is a fast-developing technology and new features and improvements are being released all of the time, and these devices can get quite expensive. Having the option of slowly upgrading your setup one component at a time, like you could do with a desktop PC for example, could provide significant benefits for the future. So with that in mind, it's no surprise that Lighthouse-based VR headsets have a slight edge here, simply because you can actually mix and match headsets and controller peripherals whichever way you want. And once you already are in the possession of Lighthouses, you will likely not have to rebuy them anytime soon. So how did the headsets stack up? It's probably no surprise that the first place goes to the Valve Index. While both the Index and the Cosmos Elite on this list make use of the Lighthouse system, the Index comes with the best-in-class knuckle controllers, which to me seem like the pinnacle of controller design for the foreseeable future, meaning that future upgrades would only require you to swap out the HMD. Coming in second is the Cosmos Elite, which does so because by default it comes with the outdated Vive 1 controllers, which you are very likely to want to upgrade real soon. Third place goes to the HP Reverb G2, and the last place here goes to the Oculus Quest 2. The reason that the Quest 2 comes in last here is partially because of the aggressive nature of Facebook and Oculus in discontinuing devices extremely quickly, which is especially dangerous if most of your headset's functionality relies on a built-in proprietary store. That being said though, let's take a look at the final ranking. Best value. The Quest 2 is the absolute winner in this category, which probably comes as no surprise to anyone. While not best in class in any particular feature itself, the Quest 2 manages to reach close in almost every single way for a fraction of the cost. For $300, this device is an absolute dream. That is, if you can live with the mandatory Facebook account requirement. Second place goes to the HP Reverb G2 for coming extremely close to Index quality for only $600, which is quite an impressive achievement as well. Third place goes to the Valve Index, and the last place goes to the Cosmos Elite. So that was my final rundown of VR headsets in 2020. Do you agree with my rankings? I'm also curious to know what VR headset you own or which one you're planning to get and why. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an amazing holiday despite the global situation, and I will see you guys next time.